Hey, before I kick off the podcast, I just want to shout out Next Door Clothing. Next Door, a clothing brand based out of Bondi in Sydney. They're making really nice jeans and shirts and hats. So go and check out their full range at nextdoorsydney.com. They're also artists, so you can go and check out a range of art. They put on rad parties, and I love what they're doing. So nextdoorsydney.com for the full range.
I'm having a good time.
You are?
Yeah.
I can tell.
We are rolling.
Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks. There go the dogs.
Cue dog.
Here we go.
Cue dog bark.
Today's guest is Tai Graham. Tai is a professional free surfer, entrepreneur, curator, businessman, club promoter, music lover, and most importantly, loving family man. Based in Bali for well over a decade, Tai landed on the island of the gods in search of a lifestyle that included pumping waves, good food, and good people. Since making the decision to settle full-time in Bali, Tai has made his mark by masterminding and co-founding the iconic bar, restaurant, and live music venues, Single Fin at Uluwatu and The Lawn in Canggu. Tai has a deep appreciation for the local people and culture. He works to support the community and help protect the natural environment in all that he does. Tai is affectionately known as Buddha to his friends, and he always seems to make time for everyone he meets, even when the surf is pumping or he's chasing swells around the archipelago. He's approachable, kind, and committed in all that he does. You just have to watch him charging extra large swells to understand his level of commitment. Today, Tai is with me to share his experiences, challenges, and hopes for the future. Tai, Buddha, Graham, welcome.
What an intro. Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Mate, thanks for being on. And dude, like, can you describe where we are right now? Because this is, like, for me, the best podcast setup ever.
It's sick, isn't it? We're sitting in the pool, the swimming pool at my house. I guess we've been trying to link up for a while now. And I just finished a training session with my buddy Dewa. And we were too hot and sweaty, so we jumped in the pool, and I guess we just kind of figured out, why not do it in the pool, and it's feeling good so far.
It's the best. I'm stoked. Like, seriously, I could not be happier. And hey, look, I want you to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So you're pretty into your training. Like, I've noticed that. Like, are you a boxer from way back, or?
Nah, I don't know. I like to. I think it's all when I can feel good out in the surf. When I can get my fitness right up there, and like, I've done all sorts of training, functional training. I've owned gyms and stuff before, and I don't know, I just really enjoy boxing. So I've done it for a while, but I've been really getting into it the last few years. So I don't know, it's good mentally for me. So I enjoy that challenge, and I can cross it across different fields.
Is it like a confidence builder when you're in the surf?
Yeah, from
the
fitness level, yeah, for sure. Especially when it gets a little bigger and stuff, and you've had a few too many drinks that week or something, and you're just like, I'm all good. It's only round 10, 2 to go. I just enjoy staying fit, and I'm not getting any younger, so I can't surf all day every day, so I just try and mix it up. But I just enjoy boxing. Yeah, it's fun.
Like, is it your outlet when things are super hectic?
I think surfing's probably more so, yeah. I think surfing, we were talking about the other day with someone, and someone asked me if I was religious, and I was like, I'm not really religious at all. And then we're up at Uluwatu actually, and I was like, hey, come here for a sec. You know what? See that out there? I go, that's my church. And he's like, I get you now. So
you'd say you not religious but spiritual.
Yeah, I think that's my surfing's my sort of plenty of thoughts come to me out there, or it's my reset, or I go, if I want to go get away and switch off for a little bit, that's where if I want to go and take my anger out on a lip and smash it. That's surfing.
Yeah, I get it. And it actually took me a long time to realize there's a difference between religion and spirituality.
Yeah,
I always thought that to be spiritual you had to identify with a certain religion.
Yeah,
but it's just in sort of the last 5 years I've realized that you can be spiritual. And then moving to Bali, I'll be honest with you, like,
surrounded by a lot of it, yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's a strong religion here, but also there is a really strong spiritual sense, in my opinion.
Yep.
I just feel it. I don't know if it's the incense burning through the streets or
yeah,
what, man.
maybe, yeah.
It's crazy.
Come off the plane and boom, it hits you.
You feel it. It's an energy, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, like, I got to know, and I'm sure a lot of people know this already, but tell me about the nickname Buddha. Like, where does that come from?
How old are you, listeners? So my I wasn't fat or anything like that. I didn't have a chubby stomach. My cousin smoked weed when he was really young, and he said the best weed out there was some stuff called Thai Buddha stick.
No way.
So he just started calling me Thai Buddha stick, and then
funny.
my dad was like, "Hey, you can't call him Thai Buddha stick," and so he goes, "What about Thai Buddha?" And he goes, "Yeah, okay." So then
And it just stuck.
I just stuck since I was a little kid. Yeah, everyone's been calling me Thai Buddha and Buddha. People don't even know sometimes what my first name is.
I know, right?
But yeah, so that's how it come about.
It's crazy how nicknames stick. Like my last guest, his name's Craig Branch, and I've known him for like 20 years. But he got the nickname Bud when he was a little baby.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know where they got it. They just started calling him, "Hey, Bud, hey, little buddy." And now, like, that's all he's known by. It's bizarre. Like, and it took me like the first year of knowing him before I realised his real name was Craig. So weird. Yeah. So, man, you've had, like, I mean, I've sort of been observing your life from afar. I mean, I can't help to notice, like, what a hectic sort of couple of months you've had, like, in terms of club promoting. I mean, Anderson .Paak, dude.
Yeah, that was a highlight.
How did that come about, man?
I guess I've been trying to get him for a couple of years now. He's good. He's one of my all-time favourites. I played music my whole life, and I drum as well, and so I've always digged Anderson, and almost had him one time, didn't work out. Almost another time, and then I was away on a little family holiday, and I just was scrolling through Instagram, and boom, there he was in Bali, and I rang up his manager. I was like, "Bro, you got to make this happen, please." He's like, "Oh, I don't know, man. He's on a family holiday." I was like, just hit him with a message, and he hit me straight back. He goes, "Bro, he's keen, super keen." I was like, "What do we have to do?" He goes, "What's your offer?" And I went, "Whatever it takes." I didn't even care. And then we all just made it happen, and he dropped his family off at the airport, and then boom, he was kind of in our hands for like 3 days before the show even started.
Wow.
And he just loves Bali, and I was like, "Hey, we were hanging out a bunch, and I was like, 'Hey man, I got to take you surfing. Like, I know you've surfed before.' He's like Ventura way and stuff, and I was like, "I've got to take you surfing." And we were supposed to go one day, but we had a few too many drinks that night, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm hungry." I was like, "Come on, man, you got to go."
No way.
And then we ended up going before the show, and then he just was like, "What was I thinking? Not surfing every day? Like, I'm changing my ticket. Can we surf every single day?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So
he stayed longer.
So he stayed like an extra 4 or 5 days and surfed. We surfed every day.
Where'd you take him, Ulus?
I took him. Well, we started out at Canggu, like down near Brawa way.
Yeah.
I took him on the ski, no one around, and then kind of did step offs with him on a soft top. Yeah, and then he got all buzzed out, and then I was just cruising along to. I was like, "I got to go take you to Uluwatu. I'll show you all the way up there." And we're cruising along. We got to the Bommy. And it was kind of like 6 foot.
Okay.
Like some solid ones out there, but no one out. And I was like, "Do you want to get a wave?" And he goes, "Yeah, let's do it." I was like, "You totally should not be out here right now, like at where his level is at, and he's riding a soft top." And I was like, "But fuck,
at 6 foot or lose?"
At 6 foot, at 6 foot Bommy of all places too. I was like, "Let's do it." And he got some crazy ones, and he was just all buzzed out, and it was
so
cool.
Step offs off the jet ski, and then what you just
with a soft top, on a
and
soft
you were
top.
collecting him on the inside, and
at the Bommy, you're far out there, and it sort of fizzles out before it gets too close to the reef. So we just got a few waves out there, and he ended up with getting a really big one. I was like, "All right, you're done." He's like, "No, like we still got time. Let's get some more." I was like, "Nah, you're not going to get better than that one, man.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that's going to happen from here is something bad. So let's wrap it up." And then he was like all stoked.
No way.
And he's like, "I need a shorter board. Like let's go get it." And then we got that, and then he ended up getting smashed. And he's like, "Okay, well that was humbling. Like I needed that. I thought I was a pro surfer for a second." So but that was that surfing side of things. But the music side and just hanging out with him, and what a cool guy, man. He's got time for everybody and so talented. Like I really saw that when we did our sound check and no one was around. He did like a 15-minute drum solo, just and and super talented.
Yeah, he seems like he oozes creativity. Like when he's not playing music, is he a little bit on the eccentric side? Or just a cool dude?
He's just cool, man. He's just super cool, and
dude, I got a man crush on him.
Yeah, he's just and you just check his style, you know. He's just like
he's killing
it takes about 4 hours to get changed. Every time we'll pick him up for dinner or lunch, he's freaking like in the room changing outfits. But hey, he's got a rocket. He's got his vibe. So
he's like,
yeah, he was cool. He was definitely the highlight of bringing in artists and stuff over here for sure. I was stoked.
And then I've noticed, and then after that, like you had the Ombak Film Festival at the Lawn.
Yep.
And then there was Catch a Fire last weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to me, that seems like a hectic schedule.
Yeah, I think since like August, man, we've almost had like an event or some sort of artist almost every weekend. And what are we, October? So it's been a few sleepless months. So,
right.
But it's been cool. It's something I've always wanted to get into is bringing over like international acts and especially bands. I really love bands. I've always had DJs and stuff coming through Bali, but bands have always sort of lacked because of like, you know, too many guys in the band. There's more hotel rooms, basically more costs, more visas, more headaches.
It's not viable.
Yeah, but I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. Like people need to see this kind of music. The Black Seeds, I don't know if you saw them. They're a New Zealand band, and they brought the funk. That was so cool. Yeah. And then Sway Lee, like he's one of the biggest rappers in the world.
No way.
He just came to hang out on a Friday at the Lawn, and then we kind of clicked. And I was like, bro, you got to come check out this Kiwi band on Sunday. He's like, I'm there. And I didn't really think much of it because this was on like a Friday night. And then he just rocked up with his boys and he was just like, these guys are epic. And my dad and him hit it off. My dad and him fully hit it off for some reason. And he's like, where's your pops, bro? Where's your pops? And I was like, I don't know. There he is. And he was in the crowd. And he just ran up and started hugging. And then Dad's like, bro, get up on stage and sing a few songs.
No.
This guy's pulling in like 500K a show. And he goes, fuck yeah, I'll do it. Give me the mic. I was like, no way. I was like, bro, you don't have to do it if you want. He goes, no, you've shown me the love. Like, he'd play these songs and I'll get up there. And the whole crowd just went nuts. So, yeah, that was super cool. And that was just like, you know, impromptu, just feeling the vibe and just jumped up there and so.
Only the magic that can happen in Bali.
Yeah. I think when they feel that, you know, that buzz that Bali's got here and everyone's having a good time and they just sort of let out of the shell a little bit.
Do you feel like the international acts is lacking in Bali? Is that what is driving you, or is it just more because you're a music lover and you just want to create the vibe and the scene? Yeah,
I think a bit of both. Yeah. I like to choose the music that I personally really, really like, but I think that the crowd will really enjoy as well. And just trying to curate that, whether it's a Ziggy Albert's concert at Sunset.
Oh, that was the other one.
Or you've got a rapper coming in, you know, dropping with, you know, dark, moody lighting, and, you know, you set up a nice clubby kind of vibe, you know, but still outdoors. But yeah, I don't know. It's just really fun trying to match artists with venue, with timing and decor and all that kind of stuff. So I just I've always liked that. I've always loved going to concerts, or I love production. Like the Victoria's Secret show, for instance. I know, say people go, oh, it's just hot chicks, but to me, it's like the hottest girls in the world with the it artist in the coolest city, you know, all coming together at once. Like that's the ultimate production, and you know, like Coachella and all these big things. And Anderson and I actually were rapping out for like the time we're here. We're like, let's do the festival together. Like when we came up with this super cool, like off the beaten track kind of idea. So let's see. We're talking every week, so we're gonna try to pull something together, a little like left field.
Yeah, and that was another thing I forgot to mention. Like you had the single fin classic, then you also had Ziggy Albert's, and then you had the twin fin thing.
Yeah.
Like that's all in the space of about less than 2 months. So what I'm curious.
Well, single fin and twin fin were the following weekends. Week after week. It seemed like a good idea 3 months before it, but we lacked sleep. So, but yeah, it was fun.
So like, and this is my next question: is like, how do you personally manage that kind of schedule? I mean, do you have really good people around you, or are you running yourself into the ground, or are you like very regimented in how you plan your days?
I think I run everybody around me into the ground. No, everyone's looking tired, but I don't know. if you're gonna jump on the ship, like we're going full on. So that's sort of
And it's like, do you feel like things are happening? So you got to strike while the iron's hot and just keep moving with it.
Yeah. And if we're gonna do it properly, you know.
Has that been a philosophy you've held in your life?
Always, yeah. If you're gonna go big. So it's like,
where did that start for you think?
I don't know. Maybe when I was young with my dad, he was always like, go big, go hard, go big, go hard. So, you know, you're gonna play football, get out there and, you know, try and win or try. It was all, you know, have fun and stuff like that, but it was like, just do your absolute best. And I carry that across nowadays when I do my work meetings with people. I'm just like, hey, you can go to a level of your absolute best, but you might not be better than the person down the street or the guys down the, but as long as you're doing your best. So if we can find a really good team, and you know we can all perform pretty good, so I think we push ourselves, and you sometimes got to go that little extra further, you know, just to like, because you know stuff pops up last minute here and there and stuff.
So that leads me to my next question. So you grew up in Australia?
Yeah.
So where in particular?
On the Gold Coast.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So dad's from New Zealand, mum's from England, and then I was born on the Gold Coast. So
nice. And how would you describe your childhood?
It was cool. I mean,
surfed,
footy, surfed and footy and music, and traveling around. I remember, you know, mum moved over here when I was really young. I think I was 8 or 9 years old, and she relocated to Bali. So then I started coming over here, and at first I was like, what the hell is Bali? Where is this place? Like I couldn't even find, you know, on the maps, and this is when real maps were out, and then I started traveling there every school holidays when I was a kid, and all my buddies in school like, what's Bali? What do they look like over there? You know, it was like 89 or something like that. So,
was that your first? Was it a surf trip, that first one, or is it just visiting your mum?
More to come see mum? Yeah. But I did get right into my surfing here.
Okay.
And then I was playing footy, you know, pretty much 7 days a week when I was a kid growing up with dad. Dad wanted me to be a pro footy player.
Yeah. So. Rugby league or rugby union?
Rugby league, yeah. But then he's like, come on, let's try for union as well. But I went to a public school. Yeah. So in Australia, public schools league and private schools union. So
if you made it as a footy player in Queensland, that means you'd have to play for Queensland in the state of origin.
Yeah, 100% would have loved that.
Podcast is over.
Yeah,
get out of the pool.
I would have loved that. I love Queensland. Yeah.
New South Wales. Yeah, man. And so you went to school in the Gold Coast the whole time.
Yeah.
And what sort of student were you?
I was good. I was.
Were you more drawn, especially through high school? Were you drawn to the creative arts, like the music stuff? And
I guess I was in sports. I got kind of sponsored and stuff with surfing, and so I was in. We had a sports excellence program at our school. I went to school with like Dave Rastovich, and there was a bunch of pro surfers. Young kid there, and so we had a real good surfing foundation at the high school. Yeah. But then when I got into the seniors in high school, when I was in grade 11 and grade 12, I was like the only surfer. The rest of them all islanders and all footy players.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so then all my buddies were all footy players. So it was a cool mix. Like, I had my surfer friends, I had my footy friends, and most other guys did a mix, but I kind of grew up with both of them. So
then you went...
Especially being, married, so it was like all the Polynesians kind of hung together. So, it was cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And like, was there, because you are married, like, was there an expectation that you would just play footy and that was it?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. But no, it's cool. Like when I got into surfing, my dad didn't have a clue. Like my dad can barely swim.
Right.
And he didn't really have. He just wasn't into it at the start. He was play another year. There's a guy down the football club that wants to give you a surfboard, and I knew it was him. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, well, you tell that guy down the club, give me the board first, and then I'll play the year. And he's like, yeah, you promise? I was like, yep. So I got the surfboard. Boom, I was gone. Didn't rock up to football training anymore.
Nice. Negotiated a business deal.
Yeah. I was a little hustler back then. So,
Would you consider yourself a hustler?
100%.
Yeah. Like in a good way.
Yeah. I think you have to hustle. Like you just gotta do what you got. If you want to get to a certain level, you just gotta get it done. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call like hustling people, and
like
at someone else's misfortune. Never ever would like to do that. But if it meant that I've got to do a bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this to make things happen. Yeah, I think so. I think everyone's a bit of a hustler.
Oh, yeah, I mean, hustler's a word, but I mean, another word is probably entrepreneur.
Yeah. I mean,
I like that word, and it is true. I think you can take control and make your own luck. And you don't have to screw people over in the process.
Yeah,
you can be ethical about it.
Totally.
Yeah. And I've noticed that in the few times I've sort of seen you around, and I was at actually your twin fin comp as well, right, and it seems like there's a lot of love coming from your staff, and I think that's a really good measuring stick.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I try to make sure everyone's having fun. It's like part of our values in the company is just like, we've got to, work hard, be good to each other, make sure we're, being a positive influence in the environment. There goes my dad and my son going for a walk.
So cute. So how old's your son?
He's almost 2.
2,
he's
keeping you busy.
Yeah, for sure. He's cool.
Running around.
Yeah. It's first kid for me, so I'm still figuring it all out. But yeah, he's cool.
How would you describe? Here's a deep question for you. Yeah. Don't get nervous. How would you describe parenthood as far as changing you as a person? Has it changed you much, or?
Yeah, I think definitely for sure. But I don't know. I mean, I've got someone that's relying on me. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, shit hits the fan, you just can go your own way, but you got to look after this dude, it's kind of, so I don't know, we come from a big family, like my dad's got 10 brothers and sisters, so we got 54 cousins, and we had a family reunion last year, 135 of us or something, just on my dad's side.
No way.
So we're all kind of there for each other, so it's we're, I don't know, I feel like it's our responsibility as children to then look after our parents when they get to that level where,
See, that's lost, I think, in Western society.
Totally, yeah. I really, really, really do not ever want to have to put my parents... I don't think it's even an option to put them in a home. Yeah. I'd rather... hopefully we're in a financial position where we can take them and have someone look after them with us, and we have enough time to, have them in our house. So I really like that about Bali. It's
100%.
It stays in that circle, and now it's time for you to look after the parents. They looked after you for the last 50 years, if not more. So it's I think that's the responsibility that we have to look after our children now, and so
and it seems like with a lot of the islander families, and you see it here in Bali as well, it's just what people do, but it is actually really foreign to where I come from.
Yeah.
And my mother used to work in a nursing home for many years, and I used to go and visit her every now and then to help out sometimes, and after school and whatever. And I remember thinking, just like, I don't know if it's the way I want to see my parents go out, but I know it's challenging, but I kind of feel like people are forced into that way because of sometimes. I don't know. I think they feel like it's their only choice, but then they still have time to sit around at home and watch TV at the end. But I think everybody has time. It's just everyone's perception of what their time is worth, and they're like, oh no, I'm too busy. But then you go and actually follow them around for a day. They're sitting on their phone a lot of the time, or they're doing a lot of things just for themselves. So I think Western culture can be quite selfish in a little way. It doesn't have those family values where it's all like, hey, just got to go do it. Like, go pick your uncle up from the airport. Gotcha.
Like, here it's like, if I'm at some of my friends' house, they're like, oh yeah, my uncle's getting. I was like, you got to go pick him up. Oh no, he's getting a train down. I was like, huh? You got to go pick him up.
Pick him up.
Yeah. No, it's not. What do you mean? No, it's easier to. It's easier. It's a pain in the ass to go. I was like, yeah, but that's what you got to do. Like,
yeah, man. I agree. I do. I see so many people back home in Australia, and myself included, like in high amounts of mortgage debt, and just sort of really driven by like consumerism, having to buy things and whatnot. And maybe like what you just said there, maybe they're losing that the real stuff of, hey, look, that stuff's not important. It's about family, and it's really nice to hear someone say that. Actually, you don't hear it too often. So after high school, you went to grade 12.
Yep.
And then where'd you transition next? What was the first year out of high school like for you?
I was
were you just surfing?
Yeah, I was doing all the competition stuff with surfing.
Yeah.
So I was trying to make it as a surfer, and cruising around, and I did all right. I did made a few heats here and there, and I was having more fun though. I was just like having such a ball.
Yeah.
I was hanging with some of all my best mates, and we were traveling around and staying in, and I guess the surf industry was doing really good. So they're like, "Here, boys, here's a house, here's a car. You guys look after yourselves, and here's some money to fill up the fridges." So we'd travel all around and just have this, and pretty much just partied everywhere. And
who was your first sponsor?
it was a brand called SMP.
I don't remember SMP. They were like skate and surf sort of clothing brand.
Yeah, skate.
I remember SMP.
Surf, skate, snow. Yeah, sex, money, power. SMB, smoke more pot, whatever you want to call it. It was cool.
I remember them well. Yeah. No way.
Yeah. So I got sponsored by them when I was 14, and I've had a few different board sponsors and all that kind of stuff, and all the rest of the stuff.
Like what sort of boards would be like? What was? Okay, let's go. Here's a question for you. Let's go right back. Like first surfboard. What was it?
I think my very first surfboard was a Tony Dempsey.
Okay.
Yeah, as a Gold Coast shaper.
Yeah.
But then I started getting boards from Tony Etherington. Do you know him?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
He's the captain up in the Mentawis.
Yep,
Yeah,
I've heard of him.
Doris.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of him.
He's a legend.
Oh, for sure.
So he started shaping my boards. He was my very first proper surfboard sponsor.
Right.
And he was in my board riders club. Then I was with Stuart. I ended up getting this guy on the Gold Coast. His name was Stuart Smith, and then Mount Woodgee.
Yep.
And then where did I go from there? I was on JRs, and it was like in the same sort of neighbourhood, but it's like they were like, "Oh, we can't. Someone's doing a little bit tough at the moment."
Okay.
Yeah, it was all good.
So many good shapers up there.
Yeah, and then I ride for Almeric, so I've been with them for years, so they've been looking after us really well. So
that's, what an epic hookup that
is. Yeah, I was stoked on that.
Yeah, so you're a sponsored Billabong surfer. So like, what does that look like as a free surfer? Is it just like get on to every swell that hits Indonesia?
Well, that's what I was doing anyway, So I was just like, even if I wasn't sponsored, I'd just still be chasing those swells and doing it anyway. So, and then I think Billabong just needed some presence here, especially to connect with international guys.
Yeah, gotcha.
There was some local boys here, but then when the international boys come in, no one was really kind of hanging out and creating that sort of that bridge and connecting them with the community here and all that kind of stuff. So they're like, "Hey, would you be keen to jump on board?" And I was like, "What do you want to do? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, don't want me to work. Like, I'm way too busy to be a marketing manager or anything." They're like, "No, just do your thing." And I was like, "Fuck, sick." So
no way.
I helped out with when they had photo shoots and all that kind of stuff. They're like, "Where should we go?" And so I just do what I was normally doing and stuff, and make sure the boys get barreled and hang out with them all, and just kind of host when they're here, and like they come and hang out anyway. Yeah. And so they're all my buddies anyway, so it was like it was easy. Yeah,
you're the Bali ambassador for Billabong, maybe.
Yeah. That's kind of the role is. Yeah, it's an ambassador sort of role. So
and like, do you enjoy it, or do you feel like there's like let's say
some orange juice.
Oh, dude, thank you. This is so posh. This is the most posh location podcast.
There we go. Cheers, man. Yeah.
Thanks, assistant.
Yeah. Lance is on the juice.
Yeah.
Mr. Juice.
Oh shit! I'm gonna spill some on my phone. dangerous doing shit in the water like this. Okay.
Extreme podcasting.
It is extreme podcasting. Yeah, man. So you finished school and you were on the tour. Are you on the QS? And just doing comps around the area?
And QS and stuff, yeah. I went to Japan and Hawaii.
Chasing
it. And all that stuff in America. And
at what point did you just start to waver from that and decide to make some other moves?
When I'd started not doing that good. Like, oh yeah, about that money we'll give you. So I was like, shit, I better have to start to get a job, A bunch of my buddies were lifeguarding and doing water patrol and stuff with all the comps, and I'd always been around all the big wave sort of stuff. I mean, big wave at that time. The guys weren't paddling into 7,000 foot waves back then, but so I got into doing all the water patrol and water safety stuff for a bunch of contests, and then lifeguarding and all that kind of stuff. So I lifeguarded knowing the whole time that this wasn't going to be what I was going to do, but it was a good transition period, and it was really fun. I was hanging on the beach surfing, and it's a pretty cruisy job. I mean, it gets hectic sometimes, obviously, and you got to deal with what comes thrown at you. But I really like that. What I learned from it, what I took from it, is like just getting smashed with pressure situations and having to deal with life and death right there. Like we had some heavy rescues with 4 dudes going underwater near the jetties, and helicopters coming, and speedboats and jet skis, and like, okay, we got to make some big decisions right now, who we're going after, and all this kind of stuff, and and then having resources with 200 people on the beach with mum screaming and the daughter going, save my dad, and you're there giving CPR to the dude, boom, 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 boom. So I just take those moments and can apply them into everyday life now, just like dealing with pressure situations and
communicating under pressure.
Yes, communicating, and even just with yourself as well, just staying calm, and and I applied that into when I went into doing some stuff and some bigger waves and working with some guys in some heavy situations and all that kind of stuff. So
that was my next question. Like, I kind of feel like when I was listening to you say that, it's like it must have been such a good foundation for big wave surfing.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I wouldn't call myself a big wave surfer though.
I mean, you do tackle some solid stuff.
Yeah. I'll get out there and have a crack, but I'm definitely not a big wave surfer. Like if I'm not paddling into like 60-foot jaws or anything like that. Let's get that clear.
I've got that clear. I know. Yeah.
But I'll get out there and give it a crack.
Yeah.
But I'm not at that Dorian level or anything like that.
Yeah, like we're not saying Greg Long, Twiggy or anything like that. But some solid Indo swells.
Yeah.
How's this season been that's just sort of passing?
It's been good. I mean, I just, it's like, as you know, I've been pretty busy with stuff, so it's been not a lot of time to go, but when I've gone, we've got some really good waves.
Any standout sessions?
Yeah, a couple of good ones.
You want to tell us about?
Not really. You know the rules.
Don't tell us locations. A few good ones.
Yeah, I got some good ones. Big heart racing barrels, and I like that. I like to get out of the comfort zone, and especially when there's one or two of us out there, and it's a bit scary, and push yourself, and then you don't go that one way, and you're like, fuck, I should have gone, and so then next one comes through, you get going.
You're not pulling back on.
Yeah, you just gotta get out there and go. So
well, that was one of my questions for you. That was like, how do you manage fear? And I mean, you were just saying then, having some experience with like other watermen, like in the life-saving stuff, and then also that physical fitness as confidence. Like, but when you're actually in the situation and you're sitting out there and there's these like 10 to 12 foot bombs rolling through at some, secret spot in the Indonesian archipelago. Like, what sort of things are you saying in your head? Like, do you have
don't drown.
Do you have here we go. Do you have a process for dealing with fear? Have you acquired one? Have you sort of created one?
Well, I guess,
or is it just whatever's happening, you just go with it?
Yeah, it's for me, it's all preparation. I live by it, whether it's work, surf, whatever it is. It's this, the precise preparation prevents piss poor performance, the 6 Ps. But it's true, and that goes into your equipment and to your physical state, which will all play a role in the mental state.
Gotcha.
If all your equipment's dialed in, if you're physically fit, if you know you're in the right spot at the right time, and you kind of know what conditions are going to get thrown your way, and then it does come. Yeah, I think you're in that sort of calm state of mind that it's all good. But hey, you know what it's like. Shit hits the fan sometimes, and you start freaking out. But I don't know. I've done a lot of trips with one of my best mates, Marky Matthews. I don't know if you know him. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's put me in some really, really bad situations before. So
I don't believe it.
Yeah,
I do believe it. That guy's a madman.
We were sitting at my house over here in Bali, and he was staying with me, and then what happened? I think he come back from the beach or something. He's like, right, that's it. We're going to the right. And I was like, the right? What do you mean? I go, which right? And he goes, the right. We go, right, down at West Oz.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, what am I doing there? He goes, come, you can be my personal water safety. So we teed up this big thing with Red Bull, and they were doing that thing where he pulled in behind Taj with the camera.
Yeah, I've seen it. Unbelievable.
So I got that angle. I was in charge of water safety. I had to deal with ambulance, helicopters.
Gotcha.
Him. I was like there to protect him. But at the same time, I had a cameraman on the back, and I was like, hey bro, if shit hits a fan, you're out of here. I'm going to pick my buddy up. And yeah, I ended up getting a few waves at the same time too. He's like, "You're on, let's go," and I was like, "Let's start me off with the medium ones."
God.
And yeah, it was big. It was like a couple 20-footers coming through and stuff. So
Like, were you on a towboard? Or
yeah, it was a towboard with no straps.
With no straps.
Yeah,
okay.
but yeah, that was yeah. He's taken me to the right, to Owls, to ship sterns, and all these waves and all that kind of
Dude,
stuff.
that footage of him filming Taj
Yeah.
is so epic, and like you watch it, and like the first thing that came to my mind, like firstly, there was no way Mark Matthews was coming out of that.
No.
And the second thing that came to my mind was like, do you really want that angle that bad that you're going to take that such a pounding? Like
it was funny because there was quite a raw swell and a bigger day, and they didn't really want the big ones. They were like, we don't need the big ones, you know. Well, we just want to get a photo. And and there was other guys out there, and these other guys, they were local boys, but it was just kind of raw and a bit unpredictable and stuff. And there were a couple sets come through, and a couple guys committed, and then they didn't let go of the rope, and then everyone's like, "Oh fuck!" And then the boy, and there was a little bit of tension, like it got a little like funny out there, and then and I got this angle, like Marky's like, "Why don't you look for another angle?" So I had Talon Clemau on the back, and he's got this like phantom camera. It's like worth freaking 50 grand or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I kind of came from behind. I don't know if you saw that angle where I was driving down the waves and I shot. We got that angle, and no one's ever done it before.
Unbelievable.
And I was like driving by myself, and I was like, "Oh, come on! I got the sickest angle." And they're like, "No fucking way! We're not getting on the back of it." I was like, "Trust me, like get on here. I'm gonna take you." And then I showed him one wave, and he's like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "Get your camera, we're on." And so he got the camera, and then we just did one, and that was the wave. And when he pulled in, it was like we were there going, "Oh, oh, oh," and then he just kind of did this gladiator stance and just like stood tall, put the camera up.
He's a gladiator.
Yeah, and there was probably 10 to 15 boats and jet skis in the channel, and there was 20 guys out in the water, and everyone went silent. No. Yeah, it was just like. No one knew what to say. Everyone just kind of like looked around and was like, "Holy fuck," you know. and I was just like, "Oh!" And he didn't pop up for ages.
Dude, did you kind
of
feel like, have I hurt my friend?
Well, I didn't say go. He just was like, "Yeah, we're on." I was like, "Well, all right, you guys are doing your thing." And then I went to pick him up, and he didn't pop up for ages. And another one, I was like, "No, I'm staying here." And he popped up, and he just had. You get pushed down so low there.
I heard there's another ledge that'll actually suck you over and under. Is that right? Like it goes deep, and then there's like some rock or something.
Yeah, picture. See this umbrella holder in the pool right
here?
Yeah. It's like that. It goes deep, really shallow, and then deep again.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So when it breaks, you kind of fall off this. That's what we call it, like a cliff kind of thing underwater. And the water pushes you down, and you get pushed so deep that you burst. Usually like you get. It's called barotraumatitis or something, and it's because you have a uncontrolled descent. So you can't equalize.
You went down too quick.
Yeah, you can't equalize. Yeah. So you burst blood vessels in your sinus, in your chest,
eardrums,
in your eardrum. Yeah. So that happened to him. Bleeding ears, coughing up blood coming out of his nose. Okay. And then I was like, "You're done, bro. You got your shot. Like we're done." And that's why he's like. Then he's like, "Yeah, you're up." And I was like, "Fuck. Okay, let's go."
And
so
you went.
Yeah, we did that day, and then when I got kind of a little bit of a hook for it, and then we stayed another day and got some really fun ones. So
best wave ever.
Scariest. It's just a giant, perfect slab. Yeah.
Because one of my previous guests, Lance Billingsley, is here. I asked him this question: like, you must have a standout wave in your life or a session that you've had that is just the standout moment. I know for me personally, in my life I've had like 3 waves that just stick in my mind for various reasons. Maybe it was just like, maybe not the biggest wave, but it was just like the sun and the light. Everything was perfect, and it was just like some epic, it's almost Zen experience. Is there one that stands out for you?
Yeah, I would say that's one of the ones.
Is that the one?
Yeah, it was just, there's just so much going on out there.
Yeah.
It's like you're at the bottom of Australia in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Just raw environment.
It just stinks of great white sharks. Like the whole time you're out there, all the boys are like hanging on. You got your jet ski and then you got your tow rope, and all local boys just sitting there bobbing there. They're just like, it's just like a freaking sitting duck, you know. And I was like, "Come on, Buddha, get in the water." I was like, "No, I'm not getting in the water. I'm sitting on the ski until a wave comes, and then I'll jump on." They're like, "Stop being a pussy." I was like, "Call me whatever you want, boys, but I'm staying on this ski. Like I'll watch you get eaten." And there's that part of it. It's really just raw and giant swell, and it's such a heavy wave.
Big ocean.
Yeah, and it's such a big, crazy, heavy wave, and to watch all the boys do their thing out there, it's like spectacular. Yeah, it's huge.
Is it still on your radar?
Yeah, I'd definitely love to go back. Yeah, for sure. I didn't have floaties. I didn't have same thing happened to me. I burst my blood vessels in my sinus and coughed up blood, and I was just like, that's me. I was like, never ever. Yeah, back to what I was saying before, I was just underprepared.
Yeah.
I didn't go there to surf. I went there to be someone's water safety.
Yeah.
And when I was like, fuck it, I'll surf. And then I got myself into a bad situation.
There you go.
If I was going there, I would go and train and get myself ready and take all the right equipment.
There you go.
I got myself some floaties after that trip.
You did?
Yeah, I got a really...
Worked out how to use them properly.
Yeah.
What is the rule there? Like, I mean, you don't want to pull them straight away, do you?
Oh, it depends on how scared you are.
But it's okay if you do. But I think I read an interview with Shane Dorian once, and he said, like, look, it's there, but if you can try and get to the surface without it, that's optimal, because you don't want to be pulling it straight away, because you want to train yourself to actually be able to handle some pretty good hold downs. Or is it just Shane Dorian? And he's
a bit of a nutcase. I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah,
that's what he does. That's like you going and teaching. Yeah, it's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what he does. So if he pulled it all the time, he's probably thinking in his mind. He's probably thinking in his mind, "Fuck, this is going to cost me a lot of money on getting oxygen canisters all the time.
Okay,
I'm going to save my money." No, but like if it was me going out to Jaws, I'd just pull that thing every single time, just because I just want to come up. But that's what he does. So
yeah,
I think he wants to not have to rely on it, because one day those things aren't going to work.
Well, I think that's what he was getting to, and also the mindset was like, you don't want that mindset of when you're going into a wave that, hey, I've got this easy exit strategy.
Yeah, it's like going into a fight going, my buddy's going to beat you up if you start beating me up.
If I'm losing.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not at that level.
Must be a good feeling though when you pull that.
Yeah, I was in Morocco, and I just had my baby.
Yeah.
And I hadn't surfed for 5 months, just sitting in the cabin in the snow, and I ended up going down and seeing my buddies down there, and we surfed this giant wave. It was like 25 foot, huge mega bomby, kind of like Nazare style, where it just like peaky everywhere. It was horrible. And they're like, "God, you're on." And I was like, "Boys, I haven't surfed big waves in so long." No, you'll be right. And I was like, "You got a floaty? Like, give me some floaties." And I got a really good one, and I took my buddy from here, actually, Joey Griffiths, to come and shoot photos. And I was just like, I just want to get a photo. Like, all I want to do is get one wave of the photo, and then I'm done. And he got so seasick, and he was just puking the whole time. And then I got this monster, and he didn't get it. I came to the boat, and I was like, "Did you get that?" He's like, "I didn't get it, bro." I was throwing up. I was like, "Fuck." So I was like, "Okay, I got to go get another one." And when I went back out again, I sort of was snowboarding. Oh, you going, Dewa?
See you, brother.
See you, Dewa.
That's Ty's boxing trainer, coach.
Partner more, yeah.
Or is he just assault you for an hour?
Yeah, pretty much. He doesn't block. He just blocks with his head.
He looks like a machine. I can just tell.
Yeah. He just loves it. He's like, let's go, let's keep going.
How many rounds do you do?
Oh, I try to just do 10 to 12, but he wants to do like 15. Yeah, he could go all day.
What, 10 to 12, like 2 minute rounds?
3 minute rounds, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be hard.
What were we talking about? Oh, the bommy. So then I was snowboarding.
Morocco.
I was snowboarding, and then I thought, this wave's not even going to break. And then so I faded to the point where I kind of lost all my speed.
Gotcha.
And then this thing just jacked up like a 20-footer, like as huge, and I had no speed, and I was in the worst position, and I was like, fuck. So I just kind of tried to jump off the board and pull through the back of the wave, which was never going to happen. And I ended up getting sucked over the falls. It was the biggest, heaviest wipeout I've ever had in my life. Yeah. And as I was getting sucked over, it was the longest over the falls you could possibly imagine. It felt like 5 minutes. Yeah. As I was getting sucked over, I just went and just pulled.
Over the falls?
Yeah.
So what happened when you impacted?
Exactly. So then I was like, as I pulled it, I went, oh no, what did I do that for? Because I was scared that when I landed on impact, it would just pop. And it'll pop it, and then when they pop, they suck in all the water, and it's. So I landed, and luckily I was just in this big bowl of whitewash, and
no way,
like this. And I told one of the drivers, I was like, "Hey, you don't don't fuck around on the inside. Sit on the channel and watch. And if I fall, then come in and scoop me up. So we had to have a rescue driver. And I think he just got bored and he was like driving around the inside doing donuts. And then he missed me. And I popped up after that one. And I was just like, and then I got another 20-footer on the head. Just went,
oh no.
And then I was just, and guys were on the beach like freaking out. They're like, whoa. I saw them. They came in, they hugged me. They're like, we've never seen anyone go over the falls like that before. I was like, fuck, oh man. That's when I said, I was like, I'm done. Let's go.
That was my question. So once you pull it and then like, okay, like it saves you.
You're pretty much like a beach ball.
I was going to say, is the second one the gnarly one because you can't dive under at all? Is it?
Depends where
depends
where you are. It broke maybe 10 meters in front of me.
Okay.
And then it just went boom, and I just kind of literally got pushed through and popped up straight away.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the second one wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. Yeah, I've seen that before. Like people pull them. I was watching some footage of Nazare the other day, and there was a guy who took a heavy wipeout and he pulled his vest, but then like the next 2 or 3 walls of whitewater that hit him, I mean I seen him try to dive under, but he couldn't, and he was just getting like
you can deflate if you're a full weapon with those things. You can deflate.
Oh, okay.
So because you got like 4, some have got 6 canisters, so you can pull and then there's one.
Yeah.
But you got to remember which one you pulled.
Gotcha.
Because you'll have different tags everywhere. So you go boof, pull one, and then that's one canister that's gone off.
Yeah.
And if you want to lose that air, there's another thing, and it'll deflate.
Okay.
And then you can get under, sort of. And then if you want to pull another one, you can pull again. Okay. You got to be pretty. Once again, you got to be super fit so that you're sharp.
And there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and in your mind, you really relax. But if that was me, I'd just keep pulling. I'd probably just be like until I start floating in the air. Yeah, no.
That's classic. Wow, man, such a.
And I just had a baby,
dude. Oh yeah. So
and I was just like, what am I thinking right now? Like I shouldn't be out here doing this kind of stuff.
Things,
yeah, totally. Like that, back to your earlier question, that just putting yourself in silly situations is I haven't been doing that as much. Yeah.
And like I guess you probably don't feel the need to really, unless like you're really psyching.
Yeah, well, it's a surfing's a very selfish, egotistical sport, right? So it's just for us. So it's like I'm gonna be a hell man just because I want to be. So
and like here's another question for you that's a little bit. It's a bit deep, and I've asked a few people this because I'm curious about it. I mean, I've been surfing for, 25 years or something.
Yep.
How do you feel about the state of surf culture? Like, I mean, it's big. I mean, and the industry has really blown surfing up, right? And then the knock-on effect of that is there is a lot of people surfing.
Yep.
So, like, how do you feel about the current state of it? I mean, in Bali, around the world, I mean, is it in a good place, or where could it be improved?
I think the industry's taken a hit because surf culture was so desirable in the early 2000s. Late 90s, early 2000s. Everyone wanted to be a surfer and wear surf.
Yeah.
So there's sort of two. You're buying into the surf lifestyle side of things.
Yeah.
And what come with that was the fashion.
Yeah.
Of how surfers dress and what they wear. So the surf industry just went and exploded. But you got to remember that's fashion, which is always going to pass.
Gotcha.
And now, if you look at a lot of surfers and what they wear, it's plain shit, which you can buy in H&M and all that kind of stuff. So that's where I see now surf is taking a big hit. And that's the surf industry. So it's maybe not as present and in your face as it used to be because it doesn't have as much money.
Yeah, okay.
But the surf culture is still thriving,
Yeah,
so it's just shifted into sort of, I guess, more, I don't know, the entry level, and you got the whole wave pool thing coming through, and the world titles. Like we still need to have a tour.
Yeah.
You still need to have a world champion.
Yeah.
You need that relevance, and then. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about wave pools, actually.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Oh man,
I think
it's hard not to be.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, have you watched the last couple?
Not really.
Okay.
I love watching someone get a wave or two in there, but I can't watch a whole comp there.
Why?
But I think they're doing it wrong.
Why?
I think it's not built for that style of surfing. That style of surfing is ocean surfing, where you need to really kind of narrow down the field. I think what you'll have in a wave pool is you can have scheduled surfing, and you can go, hey guys, Friday night, tune in, 7:30 p.m. John Florence versus Dane Reynolds.
Okay.
Boom, live, and it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's on, and you can make a commercial. Then it can be on TV.
Yeah.
And you don't have to sit there for freaking 10 hours and watch a surf comp. It's the most boring shit you can ever watch, unless you're a real avid surf fan. Surf comps are terrible.
See, I enjoy all the in-between stuff.
Do ya?
In the ocean. I enjoy it. I don't mind watching the jockeying.
Like
for
France
position.
and all this when it's closing out. It's there goes we got flying
There we
umbrellas.
go. Thanks, Barney. We've just had an umbrella incident.
Yeah, Toro Nacha.
Thanks, Bunny.
Thank you. Nearly took out the cameraman.
Yeah, what was I saying? I don't mind like the in between stuff, especially like I don't mind like the jockeying for position sometimes, or just watching people how they're reading that particular break. But when it came to
do you enjoy watching? Can you sit there for 9 hours straight and watch surfing?
I have. I mean, I've been to comps at Bells and other places and sat there all day in the grandstands.
Yeah.
I mean, having a ton of beers helped.
Yeah, but you're like a true surf fan, right? Yeah, so I think there's only a handful of us
that can do that.
I
agree.
And we appreciate all the little things, even the preparation and what boards that that's all interesting to us.
Yeah.
But I think to make surfing grow, or
what do you think they just narrow it down to highlight reels?
I think you need to have it live. I think you need to know then and there, because we live in a now world.
Yeah, but they're trying to do that though with like live streaming and all that.
Yeah, but then if you had highlight reels, it sort of already happened, and you're just watching what that. When we were in Shipsterns at the start of the year with the Red Bull thing, they're like, no live. But then you've got to control every dude in there that doesn't sneak a phone in or something like that,
It's hard.
So I don't know. I think we live in such a now world. Look at all these apps that are getting out there these days, and it's all like video apps or like real time. We want to know what's going on right now. So I think it's got to be right now. So
it's got to be now. But with the wave pool stuff, when I watched that, I found it really hard to watch while the surfer who was up next was waiting for the machine to reset, and it just. I don't know. I don't know. I like watching some of the pros get worked on the shore at Hossador, trying to paddle back out, and they've only got 10 minutes or 5 minutes left on the clock, and they need a score. I mean, and all that was so lost. But I'd like what you said. You said maybe they just rechanged the name of it. Yeah. It's not ocean surfing. It's I think scheduled surfing or pool surfing.
Yeah, I just think you'll have. I think you'll just have. You might have two tours. You'll have the real wave tour, and then you'll have the pool tour, because I think pool. I was talking to this. I was talking to this about just the other day. This might be the resurgence that the surf industry needs right now, because where can you go right now, given the fact that the surf stayed on the industry? What's going to make it spike? Nothing. It's like you can't go, oh, well, hang on a minute, we're going to make pipeline super awesome this year, but then you get there and it's dead flat. You lose that control. Whereas this might be the spike in the surf industry that it needs, or if it does need it, but it can literally go into all these random places all around the world. Like, I'm sure you're going to see people in Dubai who turn into pro surfers. Yeah,
well, I was going to say, it captures the imagination of the non-surfer as well, I think. Yeah, and then maybe that's it.
It's just a matter of moulding the format to make it exciting. Yeah. It can't be what it is now, because it's too boring. Yeah. Because it's like, you have to be such a surf fan. Yeah, it needs to be almost like a UFC, where it's it's a few hours, and boom, and then and the main battle is people don't care who the winner is. They actually want to see Kelly Slater take on John Florence.
I mean, that's what I like to watch.
I just want to watch these two guys. Like I want to watch them battle it out. So it'll just be like, it might be more user fans demanding what they want, and then different waves, and look at those the air wave with Chipper and all those guys. Like I would love to see Chipper. I'd love to see John out there.
The one in Texas?
Yeah.
Waco, was it Waco?
Yeah.
What are they called? Not Waco.
Waco,
It is Waco, yeah.
So Chipper and John versus each other. Like, give me 30 minutes or 40 minutes, just those two. Yeah. And then I'll just go, yep, that's enough. That was sick.
It's progression. I think people want to see things progress. Not just keep going around and around in circles.
Exactly.
Yeah. So maybe that's it. So look, man, like this is such a treat. Like hearing you talk about some of that stuff with like the right and those big waves. And I know that you've grown up with some of the best surfers in the world. Like now that, like for me, while we're talking about the world tour, once like Taj and Parko and Mick and those guys retired, I won't lie to you, I'm finding it hard to watch the WSL now because
they're the fun guys.
Well, I don't know, like I mean, there's so many amazing surfers on tour.
Yeah.
I mean, I love watching John like everyone else, obviously, but
Can I take this out and put it in my hand?
yeah, bro. Yeah, I'll just take off. Yeah.
Is
that easy?
Yeah,
I
there we
might
go.
do the same. Let's do the same.
There we go.
I'll just take off my my bamboo logo. Oh, that's so much better. My back was
my back. We might have to change sides.
Dude, how pruny are you?
Yeah, those feet, keep them in the pool.
Dude, it's ugly looking, aren't they? Yeah, man. I don't know. I just felt like once those guys retired, for me, and sort of, I guess maybe my generation or era, I just like, I miss them.
Yeah.
Like,
we're a little older though, because
Yeah.
like when I talk to some younger kids, they're like, "Oh, thank God they're gone. They were so boring." I was like, "What? Really? That's so stylish." They're like,
Yeah.
I got bored. What, you know? So I think it's just our appreciation of what they, you know, because we grew up watching those guys since they were young kids, and
Yeah.
they were kind of the progressive surfers at their time, but they also had style, you know.
Oh man.
So nowadays, I don't know.
Who do you get excited about on tour at the moment?
It really depends on the waves. Like I'm a big fan of just good surfing.
Yeah.
I love watching John and those guys, and even like Italo, man. It's a freak, eh?
Yeah.
Italo, Philippe. I think surfing the state of the surfers and what they're doing these days is so awesome.
Yeah.
It's just like they all just go big. They just go hard.
I feel like this generation coming through, I'm watching them, and it's like, yes, like all the foundation work that the earlier generations have done in terms of air game and progressive surfing, I feel like now it's really being manifested. You know, especially when I watch someone like Italo who can, you know, like and Felipe who just do amazing airs, but then just cut the hardest turns as well. You know, like it's really, I don't know, it's just really really good to watch and see it in a good place with those guys.
It's like that power and progression. You know, it's like it's surfing's where it should be right now. I think it's like it went from a period where it was too conventional, and then it got too progressive, and I think it lost some of its roots.
Yep.
And then it sort of balanced itself out, and you know, you could get just the same score for a big, nice rail turn, and then you know the guy throws the fins, and they get appreciated just as much. So.
Yeah, I mean, and the tour is sort of, I like the tour now because they are promoting a really healthy lifestyle.
Nearly fell. Put your mic
Mate,
in
if
the
you
water.
drop my mic in the I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just walk out of here and cry. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, like, I think modern day surfers are promoting really healthy lifestyle as well. You know, I mean, the tour in the 80s and 90s was a big party. I mean, when you were on the QS, which would have been when, like in the early 2000s?
Yeah.
I mean, was the QS like a party?
Yeah.
But it feels like it's moved away from that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's about
like
dietitians.
I remember being at contests and Mick was just going wild. Like we're out till 3 o'clock in the morning, and then the guy just friggin' wins the comp, you know. So then for us, we're like, well, fuck, that's the best guy, and he's partying, so let's all party, you know.
It's crazy.
No one was like doing core, you know, functional training and all this kind of stuff. But then it got to a level where it was like, hey, we're all good. Who's going to do something a little bit extra? And that's where that all got in and turned into a professional sport.
It did, man.
But yeah, it was I'll never forget it. I remember I was down at Bell's, and it was, I don't know, it was a QS or a Pro Junior or something like that. And we were partying so hard, and we're out at this one club, and Mick was just like having so much fun. You know, we were like, I think we were 20 or 21 or something like this.
No
and
way.
he was just like, and I was in my head, I was like, fuck. He's like, and then he won the next day, and we partied again. I was like, okay, so
He's the man.
He's the best guy, and he's partying like, it must be sweet. Like, let's just keep partying.
It works.
Then I was like, no, actually, he's a freak. There's only a couple of guys who can do that. Yeah.
Oh, he is, man. Yeah. So at what point then, Tai, did you like decide to make the full-on transition to Bali?
I was early 20s, so maybe I can't remember, 23, 24 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just bored, man. I was in Australia and doing my lifeguarding thing, and I was in a pretty serious relationship. And I'd always, I guess, been an entrepreneur, whatever we want to call it, since I was a real young kid.
Yeah.
And always found ways to, whether it's my first job was when I was 11 cleaning surfboard factories so I could buy a board, or I was like selling mangoes in the street when I was like 7, 8 years old, just like climbing up my next door neighbor's trees, taking his mangoes, and just so I could have some money so I could do some stuff,
Yeah.
And then I had this full-time job, and I was just like, fuck, this doesn't matter how hard I work, I still get the same money. And it wasn't money that was driving me, but it was just like that freedom to be able to go and do stuff, I was like
a lifestyle.
I want to go and do this, and I want to go and do that, I want to go and do that. And at the end of the day, it costs to do all these things. But I was just stuck, I was just so stuck. And then, I don't know, I felt like I had a bit more to give than what I was giving. And I was I was pretty full on with my board riders club, North End Board Riders on the Gold Coast.
Yep.
And I was coaching all the young kids, and this is kind of before coaches came around. And I was more so getting the bond of the club back together. That was the goal. It was like, because we had a couple hundred members, and every Wednesday we'd all meet, and it was like $2 everyone had to pay, and I just like train the dudes. I wasn't a trainer, I didn't have a PT and all this kind of stuff, but I was just like, we're getting together and we're going to put in those extra yards because the other club's not, and then we take them on in a competition. We know we've done the extra work, so we'll beat them. That's how I want you guys to think. And they were like, yeah. And then we ended up just cleaning up as a club. We won the Cura Teams Challenge, which was the biggest board riders challenge in Australia. Won that. We got second in the Jim Beam tag. We started becoming a champion club. Yeah. And we started I was like, hey, we need to invest in our kids, because we had this group of guys, and we were all winning all these comps as a club, but we're all a bit older, And I was just like, hey, it's us. We're doing, who's next? Who's going to fly the flag for us next? We need to invest in our juniors, and let's send them to Martin Dunn. He was the best coach in Australia at the time. And then I was like, we're going to do that. We don't have any money, and so I was like, we'll raise some money. And then there was like this mentality that our club had for so long about doing raffles, and they're like, we'll do a raffle and we'll wash cars. And I was like, fuck. Well, we're going to make $500? Like, what are we going to do with fucking $500? Like, come on, boys, start thinking outside the box. And there was one guy I really, really clicked with, and he was an entrepreneur himself and retired at 35, and he just was a big picture thinker. And me and him just kind of took the reins, and I had so many friends in all professional sports. Like, I was friends with Jonathan Thurston and all the guys, Sean Johnson, and all these athletes, and Fanning and everybody. I was like, why don't I leverage that friendship, get some jerseys, get some boards or whatever it was, and then we'll do auctions, but we'll target all the guys who've got cash, And when people know you're doing it for the kids, they will always get behind you because they're like, yep, I'll help out with the kids. So we ended up raising, our biggest fundraiser we'd ever done for the club before was like, I think $750, and we did one and we raised $10,000. Yeah. And I remember there was this one parent in there, and he goes, love what you guys are doing. Whatever you make tonight, I'll match. I was like, what if we make $5,000? He goes, I'll write a check for you tomorrow for $5,000. I was like, put your hand. I was like, come here. I was like, ladies and gentlemen, I'll get on the microphone. I was like, we're going to make sure of this. I was like, he's just told us that whatever we make, he'll write a check. And everyone's like, hey. I was like, you can't get out of it now, brother.
Held him to it.
And we raised $5,000, and he wrote a check the next day for $5,000. And I was just like, that's how you just got to think a little differently. And then I went out for a beer with that guys. And he was just pulled me aside, and he's like, I'll ask you a question. I was like, yeah. And he goes, are you happy? And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, no one talks like that. What kind of a question is this? Because it wasn't a common question. Now it's quite common. Everyone's pretty in touch with their emotional side and all that kind of stuff. But
people talk about it.
People talk about it now a lot more, but back then, especially men, no one really talked about it. And he was like, yeah, you happy? And I was like, nah. He goes, yeah, I know. He goes, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't know. I'm bored. I'm stuck. And he goes, yeah, I can see. He goes, why don't you do something about it? And I was like, all right. what am I going to do? And he goes, take some charge. And I was like, how? And he goes, go see what's out there. And he goes, what do you want? What is your dream? And that's why I was like, fuck, I had to have a good think about it. And I was like, man, I just want to be stoked every day. I just really, really, really want to wake up every day and be stoked, because it could all be over, like, you know.
Dude, I'm losing my mind. Keep going.
I had one of my best mates, Vaughan Thompson, rest in peace. He lived life to the absolute max, and one day I got a phone call. I was over in America, and my dad called me. He goes, "Oh, where are you? Sit down." Blah blah blah. He goes, Vaughan's passed away. And I was like, what? And he was coming home from a party, and he climbed a tree, and tree branch snapped, and he fell. And I don't know, that kind of hit me pretty hard. It's not like we hung out all day every day and we were best mates, but we'd spend a lot of time here together. His brother is one of my best mates, but it was just more like, holy shit, man, he died like that. Like, who would have thought?
And it's done.
Who would have thought you could die by climbing a freaking tree and the branch snaps, you know? So I just was like, oh man, we've got to make the most out of life, and we got to make sure whatever we're doing, we're just having a good time and good to everyone. And yeah, you got to live. So I just was like, hey man, I just want to wake up stoked. He goes, so how? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I love surfing. I want to surf pumping waves every day. I want to eat awesome food. I want to be hanging around fun people. Like, when he's surrounded by beautiful women, you know, I was young. I was like, yeah. I just, whatever I could think of, I was like, I just want to do that. So he's like, where? And I'm like, I got no idea. You tell me, man. You're the one putting me on the spot. So he goes, come to dinner. And we went to dinner, and he got this big giant map of the world out, and we put it on the wall. No way. And we just started like penciling. He's like, what's talking to you right now? And I was like, maybe the Samoa. We Samoa, Cook Islands, Sri Lanka, Mexico. We went all over the world, and Bali just kept ticking the boxes. And I was just like, really, Bali? I was like, fuck, it's like my second home. Like, I know every gang in Bali. I speak the language. I know all the, like, really, Bali? I never ever thought when I was a young kid that it would be Bali. And he goes, well, from a business perspective, he goes, it's ticking all the boxes, man. And I went, fuck. So he goes, why don't you go there with a different set of eyes and just have a look and see? And I was like, you know what, fuck, I'm going tomorrow. So I just literally booked a ticket, went the next day, and I went, actually, this is the spot. No way. Yeah, and then I went back, broke up with my chick, and so I didn't have anything to like keep me there anyway, and so I think I had like $3,500-4 grand in my pocket, and that was it, man. I just went fucking going.
To Bali.
He was originally gonna so we did the whole business plan, and he was originally going to invest in me, and we're going to do a surf camp. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I think he knew that. And so then 2 weeks before I was coming, he's like, "Hey man, I need to meet you." Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm out. I went, "What? You're out?" I went, oh, "Fuck, I can't go then. That's it. It's all over." He's like, "Just go." And he kind of pissed me off. So I was like, "Ah, man, fuck this dude. I don't need him." So. Yeah, I came over.
Bad on you at the last minute.
Bad on me at the last minute. But I don't know if he did it on purpose. Like, I still really look up to him.
Part of his master plan?
Maybe.
No way.
Yeah, I asked him. I was like, did you do that on purpose? He goes, no. I was just like, he goes, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. He goes, but look what happened. And I was like, yeah. So, anyway, I came over. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm still going to go with that plan of sort of getting a place and having people come stay. I know all the spots. I'll take him surfing. I'll take him to the restaurants and bars, blah, 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 like Bali hosts. And no one was really doing that back then. And so I got this bungalow house just kind of down near my mum's place, and had 3 or 4 bedrooms in there, and I just put single beds in there and a few bunks and stuff. And I finished it, and I remember I used my last money to, like, I wanted this red wall in there for some reason. I just like, that's the last of my money. Had no money left. Broke as. And then I went out that night, and I was like, I'm gonna have a drink, and I met these surfer boys, and they're like, we're looking for a place. I was like, come and stay. And they rented it for a month, and I think they paid $1,500, and it cost me $3.5 grand for the year. And I got, after 2-3 months, I got my money back, then I started like, oh, okay, I can. Then the term hustle, like, oh, okay, I can get a motorbike guy for him, and then I'll get this and that and blah 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 blah. And then
started evolving.
And then I had another place, and then I was taking guys partying, and I ended up meeting all the club owners and bar owners. I knew all them already from when I was really young.
I was going to ask, what, in Bali? In Bali, you're allowed into... I can't believe it.
Yeah, so then I started running nights myself at like Icon and Wednesday nights, and then did some stuff. Opened the first with Gonzalo. I helped him open La Plancha on the beach there at Seminyak, and what else? I did like some of the first parties at Potato Head with Ron and Kev back in the day, and then I was just kind of like, okay, I'm doing my own thing, and my buddy Tippy, he was like, yeah, I've got a space, I want to do a bar, but I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, I got a concept. So then we kicked off that one. It's called Black Dog back in the day.
Is it a music venue?
Yeah. It was the rule was only original music, and we started by just doing Friday nights. And he was like, well, what are we going to serve food? Like, what's on the menu? What's the drink list? I was like, fuck, I can't cook. Can you cook? And he's like, nah. And I was like, well, why should we go against all these awesome restaurants and try to beat them? And I was like, look, everybody goes to dinner at 7 till 10, and then they go to Kuta because there was nothing else down this way. And then they go to Kuta, they go to Sky Garden or whatever at 1. I was like, why don't we just open from 10 to 1? And then we're not competing with anybody, and then we can just grab them all. And we did that. Right. And we were just pumping from day one. And nice. Yeah, just like snowballed, and we had awesome musicians coming through. We had the Sigget. They were in town. They were the biggest. This is when downloads were on phones, and they had the biggest #1 download. 280 million people. Like they had them on their phones, and they were huge. And they'd heard of the bar, and they were friends with my with Tippy's sister, and they're like, "Hey, can we come and play?" And they came, and then they kind of put us on the map big time. And yeah, they then we got all sorts of walks of life.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2006 or 7 and 8. Yeah.
So when did Single Fin open then?
Single Fin was 2011, March 27, 2011. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember I first went there in 2012.
Oh,
Single
sick.
Fin, had a Sunday session.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we're from Australia, and Sunday sessions are kind of what you do.
It's what you do, yeah. And that was what was missing here.
Oh, okay. So you actually consciously thought, like, let's make a Sunday session place?
Well, I was so Black Dog shut because the mum was like, it's too busy, too many people here. Yeah. That's it. Shut it down. So, and then I went through a big transition of like, what am I going to do? Who am I going to do it with? I had every dude like from big businessmen and CEOs going, let's do something, and then I had the biggest gangsters going, oh, come do something with me, and I built La Favela, where La Favela is. Yeah, me and my buddy Chris, we built that. We found that block of land. He goes, I want you to do the concept of my tattoo studio. I was like, fuck, tattoo studio. I was like, I've got tattoos, bro, but I don't know my way around a tattoo studio. Like, I'm not the right guy. He goes, you're the guy. Yeah. And Chris was ex sniper, FBI, HRT, like traveled around the world. Jason Bourne, fake passports,
like that style of guy.
Take dudes out.
Those guys actually exist.
Yeah, he was one of them. And I was like, how'd you get? Of course, he found me, but he became friends with my dad, and they were jamming at a jazz bar one night. Anyway, he's like, can I have lunch with you?
No way.
So he's said, okay, want you to do this. And then when we were looking for places, I was like, fuck, look at this place. This is the spot for a bar, man. This is the best spot. And so he goes, you want to do a bar? Let's do a bar. So he's like, rang me that afternoon. He goes, I just took it for 17 years. I was like, holy shit, man. Like, I don't even know you. Like, should we just do some paperwork and all this kind of stuff first? And I was so raw into it all then. And we kind of built it from the dirt.
Was that Mare Kasim?
No.
No.
Who's this? That's a Single Fin.
For Single Fin.
No, this is a guy called Chris Wickcombe.
Oh, for the other guy.
For the La Favela building.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So we built that from the ground up, and then it got sort of to a sticky point with permits and gangsters and everyone, and it got to a point where I was like, I've got a couple of big heavy boys around that sort of have all fired off for me before, and I might peel back on this one. So I pulled back, and Gonzalo took it back over, and took it over, and he opened that. And so I was still like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And I got a call from Kasim. Oh, I'm going to sneeze.
It's fine, dude.
What's going on? And he was like, "Oh, you want to do a bar at Uluwatu?"
Oh.
And I was like, "Uluwatu, far out." And I was like, "I don't know, bro. I don't like." That doesn't make sense to me. And he goes, "Come and have a look." And I was like, "Where is it?" I was thinking it was going to be in the street or something like that. And then he goes, "Come and have a look." And so we rolled out there. And I remember walking through the building of Blue Point, and I peeled back the curtains and I saw like 6 foot perfect waves, sun going down. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm seeing this from a different set of eyes." Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, well, can we put a little deck?" And he goes, "You're the bar dude." He goes, "Whatever you're thinking." I was like, "All right." So then he goes, "What are we going to do Friday nights?" And
why do you think he wanted to work with you primarily?
I guess I was kind of hot at that time, Okay. There was nothing really happening in Bali that was like cool. There was Sky Garden and all this, but it was just like no one really knew the dudes. So Tippy and I sort of got ourselves on the map, and Tippy went and did something with someone else, and then I did Single Fin, and it was. I was like, how am I going to get people to come all the way out to Uluwatu? And then I was like, okay, Sunday session. No one does Sunday sessions in Bali. So I was like, people love Sunday session. They don't mind driving there.
Yeah.
And it's a sunset thing. And I was like, and this is the best sunset in all of Bali.
Mate, maybe the world.
Yeah. So so we started, and he's like, we got to do Friday, Saturday. I was like, no. For 2 years, we're not doing any other party. We opened every day, but I was like, we're not doing any other party besides a Sunday. Trust me, let's just build this brand around Sunday sessions and become the most famous place in all of Bali for Sundays. And we did it, and it just kind of took off. And
the night I went there in 2012 was a Sunday session. You know who DJ'd? Paul Fisher.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. He was there partying, and you were probably there too.
He was a horrible DJ back then.
But at the time, he used to have like a little YouTube channel called Follow the Fish TV or something like that. And I used to watch it because I used to think it was hilarious. He'd do those little funny skits and stuff. And I seen him there. I was like, no way. The fish. He was like, right. And he was so cool. And I actually got a photo with him. I fanned out on him.
Yeah,
and then he was DJing that night, and the place just went mental. And we had no idea that was the Sunday place. We were just there on holiday with a bunch of friends. We're staying at Bingen at Mixed Place or something. And we're just like, and someone goes, you should go to Single Fin on Sunday night. It's where it's all happening. Yeah. And little did we know that it was just going to turn into this full-on sweaty, full-on party, man.
Yeah.
It was so sick.
It was sweaty back then.
But I think you only had one deck then.
Yeah, that's when it was just super sweaty. Yeah.
Now you've got like 3 decks there.
Yeah, something like
four,
that. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like amazing, man.
Yeah.
So I just think it's funny because Paul Fisher's just blown up.
I was just speaking to him just before.
He's a good mate of yours?
Yeah, really good mate.
Yeah.
He's getting married over here at the Lawn, actually.
Really?
Yeah, his wife to be, Chloe, they met at Single Fin.
No way.
Yeah. So I remember the night they met because he was there. He jumped on the decks again with Bennett's, and he's like, oh no. And then I remember seeing Chloe and them sort of having this little back and forth sort of thing, and then here they are, about to get married. So she's like, oh, Tai, I love the Lawn. Can I get married then? I was like, I don't really do it, but I'll do it for you guys. So
no way.
So I was like, but I want to show.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, no.
So he's a good mate of yours.
Yeah, really good mate. Yeah.
How's he coping with all the newfound fame? I mean, he's had it for a while, but it seems like he's really blown up.
He's big, man.
Especially he had a Grammy nomination or something.
Yeah,
like
that. I went to Europe. I was in Europe earlier this year, and actually, I was supposed to meet them at the Lawn for a wedding, to go through the wedding plans.
No way.
And I just last minute pulled the trigger and went to Europe with Hella and Kahu. And I got a phone call. He's like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm in Europe." And he's like, "Bro, we're supposed to have a meeting today at 1 o'clock, remember?" I was like, oh my God. I was like, bro, I'm in Europe. And sorry. He goes, well, we back and forth on emails. I was like, that's right, I totally forgot. I was like, hey, give me a sec. I'll send the girls there. They'll be there. So, and then he's like, how long are you in Europe for? And I was like, oh, I'm here for a couple of weeks. He goes, I'm coming over next week. Come to a couple of the shows. And I was like, yeah, sweet. So
sick.
I went to a couple of shows, and he's like a rock star.
You can add that to your resume now, like wedding planner, father, entrepreneur, surfer, wedding planner. There you go.
That's a tough job, that one, man.
It would be, man.
I haven't been getting involved at all. I was like, get a wedding planner, and here's my events chick, and you guys figure it out. They're like, Tai, they want to do this. I was like, whatever, just let's keep everybody happy. I don't want to any brides going mad at me or anything like that. So
I remember like, when I got married, just leading up to it, like my wife was just going crazy over it, and I was getting really stressed out about it. And my mate grabbed me. He goes, "Just remember, women have been thinking about this moment since they're a little girl.
Yeah.
Don't ever forget that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, right." And I just went, "Yeah." And then once I changed my mindset, then I chilled out and just let her do a thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty special, man. So.
Yeah. Well, they're getting married in the wet season though. I was just like, "Hey guys, it could be torrential rain. Just FYI." They're like, "We don't care." And I was like, "All right."
The beach tends to be dirtier then too.
Yeah. So they know everything. So
yeah.
I hope it doesn't rain that day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Dude, this has been so epic. Like, I'm so stoked. Like, just listening to you talk story, like, I could listen all day, man.
Yeah.
And my toes are going fully wrinkly.
I'm going to sore back.
How's your back? I think I'm getting something.
Can we face this way for a little bit?
Yeah, but, like, I guess what next thing I want to ask you, well, not actually to ask you, I want to tell you, like, you were just saying at the start then, like, the reasons you moved to Bali, man. Like, I was sort of losing my mind because... just like you were really honest about it, because I sort of had that same sort of epiphany before I moved over here, except like I'd actually had a desire to move here for years.
Yeah.
But the way it worked out, I ended up moving over here with 2 little kids.
Yeah.
Because it's just the timing was right in terms of me being in Bali, I think. But I had that same feeling of like, okay, I've ticked a few boxes back home.
Yeah.
Like I've got the job, the house, the car, all that. And I was happy, but I just felt this level of like, there's got to be a little bit more,
else,
you know, and I was the same as you. Like Bali does tick a lot of boxes in terms of that feeling of like, I think especially if you're a surfer, like I just want to feel stoked every day. And I do feel it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some days here where I'm just like, oh my God, this place is doing my head in. But I just love how you were just really open about that. Like I want to feel stoked every day, and I want more, and I think we can expect more from life, but we are limited by our mindset.
Yeah, I think it's the way I look at it is you gotta just get some grab your balls and go, you know, male or female, if you got balls or not. But just the term is just if there's that desire and that burn and interest there, you gotta go, because otherwise you're being a bit of a pussy.
Have you had your failures though?
For sure. Yeah.
Like, would you say they're more than? Oh, that's right. I was just gonna lift that up. Would you say they're more than your successes?
Yeah, I don't really look at it as a failure. I kind of like it's a lesson every time. Like I opened up a shop when I came over here and it didn't work, but I was like, oh, that it didn't work. But I wasn't like bummed. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, the reason why didn't it work? And I just went really hard on studying why it didn't work. And it's like foot traffic, blah, 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 blah. And I read up about retail, everything you need to know. So I think they're more lessons. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You're not looking at it as a failure. You're looking as like a measuring.
And it's not really a win either. I don't really look at it as a win. It's just like, okay, this is, you know, we're going good. This is going good. You know, we're doing cool things.
All right. Well, so what's the end game then?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just rolling.
Just rolling.
Yeah. Well, people ask that now since we've had a little baby. They're like, oh, how long are you going to stay in Bali? I was like, I don't know. I can't see us moving for a while, at least 5 years.
Yeah.
But I think the way the world's sort of moving at this day and age is, I can't see us relocating and settling somewhere. Yeah. I think if anything, we'll probably start, you know, maybe 3 months in Norway, you know, 2 months on the Gold Coast, maybe a month in New Zealand, and then times here.
No, you don't like being in the one spot for too long.
No, I don't like being in the one spot for too long, but I just want to also like not be somewhere where I don't want to be. Yeah. Yeah, like I don't want to go, oh, this fucking sucks. I don't want to be here, but I have to be. You don't really have to be there. Yeah. You can design it if you want to. You just got to get creative enough and hustle enough and figure out, okay, if I want to be here, you know, I want to be in Bali from April to October. I love it. I love it then. It's great waves, great weather. It's fun.
That's actually what Michael Klim said. He said, I've created a lifestyle by design. Yeah. I was like, I love that call. Yeah. And you can do it.
You can 100% do it.
But you just think you got to man up to it.
Yeah, and you just got to make it happen. So I think that's the way a lot of people will probably go. I think you can do it, man. You just got to get creative and find a way to make it happen. If you want that to be the way, some people don't want to move around; they want to be very settled. But I think for us, especially for Hella and I, and we love traveling around and experiencing different things and cultures and all that kind of stuff. So I can honestly see us basing ourselves here for, I don't know, 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really looked further forward than that. And then, and sort of moving around a little bit. Like, I would love to go and stay in New Zealand for 2 months. I'd love to be on the Gold Coast from sort of February, March, April. It's so cool then.
Yeah.
It's like great waves, good weather.
Good wind.
Yeah, it's just fun. You know, like, why not be somewhere where it's just fun all the time? Might as well.
Oh, dude. And
that's how we're both the same like that. So, and we both
helps.
We
We
both have the freedom, I guess, with our at the moment anyway, with our companies that, you know, we can sort of make those calls, and just got to I think your team needs to learn to operate from however you want to do it. So if you want to be away and you're on Skype or however you want to do it,
man, it's really inspiring, dude. I love that, and it can be done, and it really helps when you have a partner who's on the same mindset.
Totally.
And I love that part.
And I think it would be cool for a kid growing up and experiencing and being exposed to all these different cultures and all this kind of stuff.
It's funny. Before I moved over here, we had people saying to us, "Oh, what do you mean you're moving little kids to Bali? They're gonna get dengue fever." And I'm like, really? But now, like, I mean, the thing that's keeping us here, even for another year, we only had a 1 year plan. It's already turned into a 2 to 3 year plan.
Yep.
Is that, like, my kids are so happy here, and they're surrounded by culture and people that are just really family orientated, and I mean the local Balinese people love kids. And it's been so enriching because they're experiencing.
How
another culture.
old are they?
My daughter's 4.5 and my son's 1.5.
Awesome.
I
think I've always thought it would be a great place for kids up until they're about 12, 13.
Why is that? I'm curious.
Because when I was young, growing up, I got exposed to so many cool things.
Yeah.
And then when I got to 12, 13, 14, I started doing naughty things.
Right.
And I think those naughty things
too easy in Bali.
Too easy. No rules. No one regulating clubs, drugs, bikes, all this kind of stuff, and shit can go real bad real quick here, you know.
I noticed.
So it happens anywhere around the world, but I just get scared about, you know, like a 13, 14-year-old wasted on a motorbike.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
We see it. Yeah.
So that's what scares me, and that's why I think we're looking at 10 years would be awesome.
Yeah.
You have a lot of help here. They've got, you know, they're exposed to so many different cultures and all that kind of stuff. Excellent. And yeah, man, I just I don't know. We're not really thinking about it. We're just enjoying it.
You're just enjoying it, and for what it is. And like you said, like, I mean, you're talking about your friend who unfortunately fell out of a tree. Like how quickly it can happen.
Yep.
And I mean, I think that was a real catalyst for me to actually do and break out of a cycle that I wasn't necessarily disappointed with, but wasn't really feeling. Right, some, you know, I think unfortunate death happened in our family, and it just made me reevaluate, like, you know, things are precious, life is precious, and am I really grabbing it by the balls?
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah. I guess it goes back to the thing we were talking about before. Like, is this the best? Is this the best that I can do? And that's where I was living that life where I was like, nah, I'm not. I've got way more to give than this.
Yeah,
that was just a self-thought.
Yeah.
I wasn't blasting that on Facebook or anything, but I was just like, I can do better than this. Like, I've got more to give, and I want to push myself as a person. Like, I want to push myself. This is so easy. I can do this shit with my eyes. No. Like what I was doing before.
Yeah.
Anybody can do this, but I want to do something that's hard and difficult and try to get good at it and push my boundaries a little bit.
Okay. Well, what's on the horizon then?
Career path wise, or
both career, like promotion wise, like, I mean, is there a few things you're excited about on the horizon that you want to talk about, or you can talk about, or?
Yeah, I want to get into I love hospitality, and I guess I've always naturally been in that industry or in that realm, but I didn't even know it because we've always, like, our family's always been really good hosts, you know. Like, come stay with us, we, you know, music, bringing people together, throwing parties. I threw heaps of parties when I was in high school, you know, and I always remember I was running around making sure the music levels were good at all of the areas. And yeah, well, I was just like, are you good? You good? And everyone's like, just relax and drink with us. But I would always sort of do my drinking when everybody was starting to leave, because I was like, okay, cool, everyone had a good time. And that was when I was 16, 17 years old, you know. So I was, when I look back at it now, I was like, oh, okay, I was doing that already, you know. So it's no different to running a restaurant or a bar or whatever it is. So I want to stay. I like that. I like that sense of creating and giving people experiences, and you know, so I want to get a bit more deep into that. I'm looking into. I would love to do a hotel, sort of a village space area where, you know, it's sort of derived around my passions of surf. And we're looking at some places at the moment and all that kind of stuff where it's
Would you say you're a bit of a perfectionist?
Maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe, yeah. I mean, I can get real picky about shit.
Yeah.
And I'll just, nah.
You like
okay,
quality.
good.
You like quality. You like things done well.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I am. I don't know. I don't want to just go, I hate that saying good enough. That's good enough. Like here in Bali, they're like, oh yeah, lumayan.
Okay.
I was like, do not ever freaking use that word around us, man. Like, if it's not the best, don't put it out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd almost rather not put shit out there or do stuff if it ain't going to be good. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Respect, man.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's a perfectionist
I was going to say, can it be a blessing and a curse?
Yeah, definitely. Because sometimes I just can get too hung up on stuff too. And you know, you put too much time and energy and effort into something that's in the big picture maybe not that important, but you're just like, no, it's got to be awesome. Let's get it done. So yeah. Anyway, it's just it is what it is.
It is what it is, but it's understandable as well. And I think that sometimes defines people who maybe change the game, or make change.
Yeah.
That's a pattern I'm noticing.
I definitely when I look at the game, I do really use that analogy. Some people don't like to think of it like that, but I really do, and it's just like, you want to be a game changer, not just a game player. Yeah, and understand the game you are playing and the game you're in, whether it's a surf game or it's the beach club game or life as a game, and understand the rules and understand the players and the moves you can make, and then you can sort of go about your way to do your best at doing good at the game.
And I like that view on it too, because then it's kind of like, if you're approaching it like a game, well, then you're not taking it too personal, and you're not getting too serious, because end of the day, I mean, we've got no real control over life, do we?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we don't
Yeah.
really know what's going to happen. We can think we're in control of things, but we're really not, you know?
Yeah, you got to focus on what you can control.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Focus on what you can control, and then the other things is, you know, we deal with that with artists, you know. They're like, oh, we need him to do this interview, or we need it. And I was like, hey, if he wants to do it, let's do it, but he might not want to do it. Let's focus on what we can control, or, you know, like, let's make sure we deliver great service. Let's deliver, you know, great decor. Let's do all the things we can fully control and worry about that.
Yeah. How do you deal with those big personalities, man? You must have come up against a few.
You know what's funny? It's the kind of smaller guys that get this diva-ish act about them.
Okay.
It's every big guy I've dealt with is been super cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but there's been smaller guys that won't do shit for you, won't help, and, you know, post on an Instagram or whatever it is, and I just go, man, this is like, what the, and then you know, it's like, oh, management this and blah, blah, and I'm just like, come on, guys, like, let's get realistic about this, like, not that big. Like, but anyway, whatever. I respect you, and if that's what your wishes
then you got
are.
Someone like Anderson Paak.
Then you got someone like Anderson Paak who's like, oh, what do you need me to do, bro? I'll like chuck it up there, and like, and I was just like, bro, thank you for being so cool, you know?
Yeah.
Because my view, I guess, on everybody is you're just another person. And you take yourself out of your world, the way you're the dude, and you come into, take Anderson Paak surfing.
Yeah.
He is a kook.
Yeah,
you know, and he says that, and he's like, I'm a kook, but but he's the coolest kook that I know, you know. Dude, so
cool. Mate, that guy is just so cool.
But the good thing about that was he took himself out of the game where he was the man, and he put himself in this environment where he was out of his comfort zone, and he didn't know what the next moves were going to be, or what the reactions, or all this kind of stuff, and he was just humbled, and he got brought back down to ground zero. I think Bali actually does that to a lot of people. I think you it's very, very, very rare that the whole place or the whole town will go screaming after somebody.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be in downtown LA or you'll be in Sydney or whatever, everyone might know that dude. Whereas here, you kind of got to be like, I don't know, like a Brad Pitt or someone super mega famous. Otherwise, like, even Anderson .Paak, we went to some bars, some people, he just walked past like he was nobody, you know? Like, so I think a lot of athletes will come over here and they're like, who? Oh, I don't know that dude. And everyone's like, oh, actually, I'm just kind of like normal guy, because it's such a diverse mix of people over here from all over the world.
Oh, totally.
And it's not one sport or one genre of music or whatever it is. So I think a lot of people can go a little bit incognito over here, and I think they'd like that.
For sure. Yeah, no, I love that. And it's that whole philosophy of, I think, to stay relevant, you got to keep reinventing yourself. Yeah. And it seems like you're someone that is doing that and has done that. Like, you've reinvented yourself. Like, you could have easily sat on your laurels and went, oh, look, I was a hot shit surfer when I was young, and I've done it, you know, like, but kind of was like, well, no, I'm more than that. Bali
brings out a lot of creativity in a lot of people. I think for sure. It's something about the place. Like, when my mum and stuff first moved over, there was fashion designers, there was jewelry designers, or like furniture makers. Yeah, that was pretty much it. You had to, or there's a couple of people who had some restaurants, but everybody was kind of creating. There was no school teachers, you know, like it was really rare. I think there's one or two. There was no, you know, physios, or there's no professions. It was kind of just creatives. Yeah. And I think that's sort of that energy that there's here, and everyone can be, you can kind of experiment a bit more over here with less risk, maybe.
Yeah, I think there's that element too. Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely brings out a lot of creativity in people, for sure.
So, man. Yeah. So how you feeling?
Good. Yeah. How we doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's been epic. It's been like it's been an hour and 33 minutes.
Okay, yeah, cool.
You know, and you've sort of like, I had a bunch of questions I wrote down, and one thing I'm learning is, like, I write these questions, then I end up throwing them out the window. Yeah. Because I just like to see where it goes, and like, yeah, man. But you know, is there anything else you want to like? You want to end on? Is there something you want to say and put out there in the world?
I don't know, man.
I think you've said some cool stuff, like.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. You're the one asking the questions.
Look, man, well, thanks for...
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for being on, bro. Like, I'm stoked, and thanks for your time. And, like, I know you are busy. And, I also want to thank Lance and Barney, who've been here assisting us in the pool. And, I mean, I'm so stoked that I never thought I'd do a podcast in the pool.
Yeah, cool.
And we did it, and like, I know we went back and forth a whole bunch.
I have a question for you before you go.
I'm ready.
Yeah, podcasts, like,
yeah, man,
like getting into them and all this kind of stuff. You must get a lot of interesting insights from all these people, because I had a quick scan on the page. Yep. Like Michael Klim. Did you do Tony, the guy from Apple? Did you do him?
No, I haven't done Tony from Apple. I do know who you're talking about. He's the guy that did the
iPod.
Scooters.
Yeah, he's got the electric scooters and all
this
kind of stuff.
He's doing the scooters over here now. No, I haven't done Tony.
Who's your most interesting guys you've done?
Well, for me personally, it's maybe people you don't really know. Yeah. Like, I mean, originally when I started the podcast, I was like, I just want to speak to surfers and skateboarders. I'm really interested in that, but it's actually evolved into so much more than that. I've had musicians, artists, Olympic athletes, authors, and a few surfers. I'd really like to get some local Balinese people on the show. I mean, I really enjoyed speaking to Nev Hyman. Yep. He's doing this amazing project called Nev House. You know, because he's thinking of a realistic mass solution to the rubbish problem. And it's a really good concept.
We put a hungy down at his house, like 25 years ago in Palm Beach.
I was going to say, because he lived in Burleigh.
Yeah. My dad put a hungy. He's like, I want to have a hungy. Like, you know what a hungy is?
Yeah. Where you cook the food under the ground, right? Yeah. So you make a fire and then you cook it in the coals.
Yeah. Banana wrap it in
banana wrap. Yeah.
He's doing awesome stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah, like I found that really intriguing. But the people that are really intriguing me are the ones that are going all in. So I've got a mate of mine, ironically, and it's actually, his episode has had probably the most listens. His name's Blake Johnson. He's from Wollongong, my hometown in Australia. And really young, he opened a cafe, very similar to you, and it went pretty well in Wollongong, and he managed to sell it, and he had a little bit of money. Like, not a lot.
Oh, Blake from
Coffee
Cartel.
Oh, yeah.
Blake,
And then he said, like, I just love Bali. I
Yep.
love the lifestyle. That's where I want to be. I'm
Yep.
just going to do it. And he came over here, went all in, every single penny, and opened up this restaurant in Seminyak called Coffee Cartel, and it's going really well.
Yeah, good.
And then he's just opened another one in Legian, and he's got some other ideas. But I just love that he actually really hung, like you were talking about, just hung his balls out to dry. And I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah.
And because I know a lot of people back home that we know sort of similar people, when he first did it, people were like, what are you doing? You had a really good thing going on in Australia. Like, why would you walk away from that? But he listened to that thing that was right down inside and went,
exactly.
you know, and it's
that's what a lot of people don't see, you know. It might look all pretty on the outside, but then something's burning on the inside.
And he had some dark hours. I mean, when he first opened the shop, there was the volcano, and then they stopped all the planes. Yeah. And he literally was like, he'd only been open for a month or something, and he said he was on the phone to his mum. He's like, Mum, that's it. I'm going under. Yeah. I'm gonna have to. They're gonna have to give me some money just so I can pay wages this week, or you know. And she's like, look, just hang on one more week. Hang in there one more week. I think she gave him a little bit of money just to keep him to go one extra week. Like, that's how dire it was. Yeah. And then the plane started coming again. Yeah. And he stayed strong and true to what they wanted to achieve. And then from there, they haven't looked back, you know. Cool. So they're the stories that I've been really enjoying. I sort of said, oh, look, I'll try and do 10 episodes and then I'm done. But because it just
You've done 25.
You'll be episode 25, brother. Awesome. Cool. And it's like, it's a good episode. I actually want to do as episode 20. Yeah. But we got there. But anyway, I'm going on a bit of a rant. But mate, thank you so much. It's been epic. And yeah, brother, high five.
Yeah, cheers. Hope someone who listens to it gets something out of it or enjoys it. Yeah.
And they will for sure. Yeah. I think one more thing I'll say, Tai, is what I am learning is like authenticity. Yeah, it's a real thing, and I think people can sniff it a mile away in everything you do. And I don't know, maybe I sort of get this sense there's a level of authenticity, like, and I think that in itself is a mark of a successful character, without sounding too deep, but I believe that. So yeah, man.
Cool. Thank you.
Brother, legend.
Cheers, man.
All right.
Thanks.
Go
get dry.
See you, brother. See ya.